A game criticized for its mature themes, yet praised for its replayability, Shadow the Hedgehog's existence is strange. Shadow of Hedgehog fame is Sonic's rival, but like all good main characters, they occasionally team up. More importantly, however, throughout his many appearances in the franchise, I want to talk about why his solo game exists, its place in the franchise as a whole, and why we haven't seen another Shadow game since its release for GameCube 18 years ago. This game was released after the most lighthearted Sonic game at that point in time, Sonic Heroes, which is funny, as Shadow the Hedgehog is the most edgy, mature game released within the franchise to this day.
I don't have pronouns. What?
This was Sega's attempt at branching out into darker storylines, and to say they fumbled the bag is incredibly generous.
Damn you! No, it's not true!
The premise of the storyline is that Shadow is believed to have died in Sonic Adventure 2, and that leads into his game where he is brought back to life because of his popularity from before. It is revealed though that Shadow is created by Eggman using Black Doom's DNA in exchange for the Chaos Emeralds. Towards the end of the game, you come to find out that Eggman had created an army of Shadow the Hedgehog androids, and Shadow begins to question his own existence before learning that he himself is an android.
Doctor, please, I need to know. Those androids, the ones that look like me, am I? Yes. What?
After defeating Eggman, Shadow decides to use the Chaos Emeralds to rule over everything himself and start an android army before killing Eggman.
But I will now lead this empire and androids will rule. This is who I am.
Eggman, target acquired. Locked and loaded, fire.
What?
I wish it were that simple. The main praise this game received amidst its dumpster fire reviews was its replayability. The replayability comes down to the storylines you are able to play through. But first, I'd like to go into why the game is so widely regarded as being terrible. The controls are clunky and weird, the levels are either rushed and forgettable or just completely frustrating, and the few gimmicks they tried to include aren't executed well and you end up just pointing and shooting at whatever comes into your path. Shooting, you ask? Oh yeah, that's because Shadow has a gun. The game also features 326 variations of playing through it that can offer you the 10 different endings. Each playthrough of the game features 6 levels that vary upon the choices you make in the previous one, but seeing as there are so many variations, I'd like to just highlight the possible endings and show you what you can achieve. Spoilers ahead.
Finally.
You'll be greeted by an ending where Shadow defeats Black Doom and then uses the Chaos Emeralds himself to destroy the Earth. You once again defeat Black Doom, yet Shadow decides to conquer the universe using the Chaos Emeralds as he is the ultimate life form.
A few moments later.
Shadow defeats Sonic and then bows down and becomes a servant of Black Doom. In this one, Shadow just kills Eggman.
What? Goodbye, Doctor.
Shadow defeats Eggman, decides that he is an android and wants to use the Chaos Emeralds to become better than the original Shadow, and then he promptly kills Eggman.
What?
This ending has Shadow defeat Eggman, collect the Chaos Emeralds once again, and then deciding to rule Eggman's empire as Shadow Android before also killing Eggman.
What?
2 hours later.
Shadow defeats Eggman before deciding that he will guard the space colony Ark as the ultimate life form, before banishing Eggman to never return back to the colony. Shadow defeats Black Doom before he becomes depressed about all that he's destroyed, and then he just leaves. Shadow defeats Sonic, collects the Chaos Emeralds, and then uses them to become invincible and the strongest hedgehog of all time.
Tomorrow.
Shadow defeats Black Doom, collects the emeralds, and then fulfills his 5-decade-old promise to Maria Robotnik to protect the Earth.
But wait! There's more!
The true ending of the game is only viewable once the other 10 are completed and you are given the truth. Eggman tells Shadow that the government found out about Project Shadow and planned to shut down the Ark, before telling him the future was in his hands. Shadow then escapes his trance and mind control and fights Black Doom as Super Shadow, and then he leaves his past behind him. Confused? Yeah, you should be. The whole point of this video is because I wonder, why was this game made? A quick Google search helped me figure out the answer to that though. It was created by Sega Studios USA, which is now a defunct branch of the Sonic team. Takashi Iizuka wanted to attract an older demographic after serving the younger audiences with so many previous renditions of the franchise. It was also their purpose to answer more questions and backstory from the character's introduction in Sonic Adventure 2, which left the audience wondering. Shadow's character was inspired by films such as Terminator, Underworld, and Constantine, and they hoped this inspiration would let them experiment with more mature themes, which is why we see an anti-hero hedgehog wielding a gun in a kids game franchise. What a sentence. The game explored the possibilities of adding weapons, violence, and an in-depth morality system, and profanity by using Shadow as he was already deemed an edgy and more mature character. I'd like to see another Shadow game created, and I don't just say this because of the nostalgia factor, because I don't hold any nostalgia for this game. The game came out when I was 3 years old, and I didn't play it until much later on in life. In recent years, we've seen a collapse in terms of the quality of Sonic games and the trajectory the series has taken. Like seriously, whoever decided to make Sonic Forces needs to be talked to about never doing that again. It is sad watching these games get continually put out and just be underwhelming. A new Shadow game could breathe life into a franchise that desperately needs something new. And with how the world has advanced, the more mature themes would be recepted better with the new technology. I think Sega would be able to implement gameplay that's actually good. Sonic is fun, but that doesn't help the fact that all of these games have felt the same recently. We haven't seen an entry of the Sonic Riders series since Sonic Free Riders was so poorly received, and every new game feels like they try to play it safe. I'd like to see Sega revisit some of their failed ideas and use the criticism from them to try and recreate and improve upon the foundations those games left in their path. This game is bad. Everyone knows it's bad. It's frustrating and clunky and features a weird and confusing storyline that honestly probably has too much diversion from the main storyline. That doesn't change that this is one of the most unique strays from the path that I've ever seen a major game developer take, and the potential for something great is hidden in there. From the 11 confusing endings and the level design that leaves much to be desired, this game leaves a lot up in the air. I think it's fair that Sega has never revisited Shadow as a headlining character, but I also think it's worth another try. And with that, I'll leave you until the next video. Thank you for watching.